a personal interest as well as a business interest in the fact of this program. And what happened was I'm a niche player in the insurance brokerage world where I pick certain spots that we can look more competitive than most other places offering products that may or may not be the same. And I went to a particular underwriting meeting from an insurance company, and one of the people asked, well, now that marijuana is getting legalized in a lot of states and there's medicinal marijuana prescribed, how would you treat those marijuana users? And the company said, we would actually issue them standard non-smoker and maybe even preferred depending on how much usage they did. So I figured out what a great idea to start marketing. And when I started marketing, I found out there's a lot more people that are using it than you thought. And there's a lot of people that were getting through our underwriting and never even knew, but still got issued at nice rates. So I created a website called potsmokerins.com or potsmokerins.org, and for this reason, to alert everybody that indeed, if you use marijuana in any capacity, that indeed you don't have to get discriminated against, and you don't have to eat a decline or a rate-up policy or even a policy as a smoker. And that doesn't matter whether it's legal or it's recreational or if it's in your state that it's recreational isn't passed, but medicinal is. And we've had a number of success stories for these life insurance policies. Now, recently, I found another debacle in the industry of how people in the marijuana industry are getting discriminated against. And it turns out, similar to all the banking rules, the insurance companies have established their compliance to that of not being able to issue many people that are in the cannabis business. That being said, as I was looking around and talking to different people in the industry, I found out that there was a number of people who had been either declined or rated up, and then out of the clear blue sky, I got a call from some brokers that are in Colorado that have some people that are very knowledgeable and very influential in the marijuana world that have been declined all over the place. So what happened was everybody in the field usually asks me for the impossible. You know, get people with cancer insured, get people with heart disease, get people with colitis or Crohn's or diabetes, and I am the master at finding the best price and best product for those people. And I have many companies to get those from, over 30 companies that we do. So when I found out that this particular person had so much problem, I started putting informal inquiries around the whole around the industry, and which meant that I was sending to different insurance companies' underwriting departments saying, how would you treat this person? And one particular company came back to me, of all things, the underwriter turned out to be somebody that I used to live next to 37 years ago, and he's in Texas now, and I'm in Connecticut, and we managed to connect together. He had underwritten at a company that I didn't even know where he was, and of course, I'm here. And I asked him in particular, now, I knew this guy in my old days, when I knew him 35 years ago, that he used to partake in having recreational marijuana. So, of course, he had a vested interest in it, and he ran up the flagpole to his insurance company, and they said, yeah, we can insure people in the industry, but there has to be certain ways of doing it. So this is how I got attracted originally to it. I was very sick and still am considered, and I read a lot about some of the cures and how people are tolerating the problem I have, which is for 43 years I was diagnosed having ulcerative colitis, and then recently they call it Crohn's disease, new diagnosis, and of all things, I had to miss a lot of work, and thank God I had plenty of disability insurance. And I found out that, indeed, in the marijuana industry, once again, it's almost impossible to get somebody disability insurance, but I figured out how to do it. And I found out the company that would accept it. And disability is more important in my mind than is life insurance, because it's called living death when you get disabled. And recently I was out for a couple of months. And yes, I had a functioning office that does very well. However, when the big dog wasn't there, they didn't do quite as well because, as you know, there's a direct correlation between the work and the big dog producing the rainmaker and the others not. So with that in mind, that's why I've chosen this whole marijuana focusing on it, and I've noticed that I'm about the only one that I've been reading on LinkedIn that's actually writing articles and posting about it, and actually has accepted cases and gotten approved these cases. Interesting thing is that I've always said this in the past to many people who are not necessarily connected to the marijuana industry, but at least in my state, Connecticut, and some other states, the owner of a business can self-insure their particular part of workers' comp. And what do I mean by that? They can actually waive out of workers' comp. Now, that being said, workers' compensation does bring some benefits to the people, but these same people can buy a disability policy or a business overhead policy and have actually more coverage for probably less price than what's happening in the marijuana industry. From what I've heard, I'm not in the property casualty business, I can refer that to people, but from what I heard, they're penalizing and discriminating the hell out of people that own, businesses related to marijuana. It's all related to that same banking law. It's still considered illegal in most states. So with that in mind is what we've done in the past, especially when you have a contractor or something like that, is we told them, why don't you waive out of the workers' comp for yourself, not for all your employees, because you can't do it for your employees, but waive out for yourself, and you can choose to get individual disability income on yourself. Now, once again, I found a particular insurance company that will take people that are in the marijuana field and will actually underwrite and give them a disability policy pretty competitive. Matter of fact, I know that it's a great company because I just received a $16,000 check for my disability from them, so I'm kind of endorsing that situation. And that being said, if other people were to put through the same case with the same companies, they may not get the same results that I would get. Well, this is interesting because one of the problems I've noticed in the industry also is that people that are in this cannabis field have a lot of trouble banking as well. And they have substantial problems of where to put the cash. Now, and of course, all the companies are worried about anti-money laundering and things like that. That's what they're worried about, that it's illegal or whatever. And of course, we know it's legal as long as you do it right. That being said, a number of people use insurance policies not only to pay off while they leave the earth, but pay off while they're living. And most people don't realize it, but, insurance is a lot like the Roth IRA, except for it has insurance costs. The tax treatment is exactly the same way as a Roth IRA, in the fact that it can grow tax deferred, you can take out the income tax free. God forbid somebody leaves the earth, you can take the death benefit federal income tax free, not necessarily federal state tax free. And now the new policies have what's called chronic care riders or long-term care riders. You can also take that in tax free as well. So some people use life insurance, not just for life insurance to pay, God forbid they leave, but some are using it as a replacement for disability or long-term care, but even more, a number of people are using it as a super Roth IRA and sticking lots and lots of cash in these contracts because they can distribute it back tax-free at a later date. Well, it's interesting, but I've written a lot of continuing ed courses as well as a number of articles. And, it's people in the cannabis industry, as well as people that use it, are everywhere. And in some states, a lot are everywhere. And yet those people still have the same needs as everybody else. They all have families, they have businesses, somebody might have a partner, so a lot of times I talk to them about a buy-sell agreement. They might have employees, they might have a key employee. They have families, they have to take care of their dependents. I want my kid to go to college, my 2 kids to go to college. And of course, God forbid something happened to me, I want my wife to have some money from me as well. And so people, just because you're in the cannabis industry does not mean that you don't need the same products as the rest of the world does. And you're not immune to having problems like the rest of the world. Now that being said, a number of people who have an actual legal prescription for medicinal marijuana, they already have some other type of problem. And a lot of them probably have been afraid to apply as if it's double jeopardy. One, because they were sick, whether they had Crohn's disease or diabetes or depression or PTSD or many other things that marijuana is helping them out. And also, these people should not be penalized or discriminated against just because their doctor has prescribed it to help them out. So, believe it or not, I just wrote up something recently of all the specials that people can do. I've gotten diabetic standard insurance. I've gotten people who've had heart disease standard insurance. People who had cancer in the past standard insurance. And then people who have multiple ailments insured. Now that being said, why consider being double jeopardy or double discriminating just because one, you have a condition and, like I got Crohn's disease now, as well as that you use marijuana. I'm not claiming I do or I don't on a national magazine. But that being said, why should people be discriminated? We know that we can get them through because we actually have satisfied clients that this has happened to. The easiest way is through my work phone, which is 860-761-1216. Yes, my staff will ask you questions. And they could use my email at paul@himmelsteinfinancial.com. I'll spell it out for you. That's HIMMELSTEIN financial, FINANCIAL.com. So that's paul@himmelsteinfinancial.com. And I'm available and I do what it takes. And we're also asking for not only, maybe you have a great broker that you're already using for insurance or whatever. We can also work with them because we're also what's called an independent marketing organization. So I have a following all over the country from people that are in my industry. And by the way, a number of them are working in this particular program of concentrating on not having the marijuana users or people in the industry discriminating against.